Dan Illman, Ashley Mailloux taking a look at race number 9 at Del Mar on Sunday. It's the California Thoroughbred Breeders Association. These are some fleet 2-year-old fillies going 5.5 furlongs at Del Mar. Before we take a look at the field, remember to check out those Timeform US pace projectors, pace ratings, speed ratings, and all the features. Timeform US PPs available at DRF. Learn more at drf.com/TFUS101. Here's the field for the CTBA. There are some very promising runners in here. Pushiness, though, perhaps might be the most promising of them all. The number 3 was super in her debut.
She was spectacular. 69 by her speed figure, much the best for trainer Michael McCarthy, owned by Rapoli Stables. You have to wonder, what we're going to see from her next. A couple of these horses were flashy on debut and were able to put it together in their following starts, but others left a little bit to be desired. One of them I think of is maybe Crazy Hot, who looked very good, I think, winning Santa Anita back in May, but needed a bit more when tackling stakes competition for the first time next time out.
Can't argue with this Timeform US pace projector. Pushiness showed the field her heels in her debut. She was ultra quick, and if she shows that sort of gate speed, she might be a length and a half clear heading into the turn, and that might be all she needs. These 2-year-old fillies, a lot of times the race goes to the quick.
Certainly does. And, I'm not shocked to see Grand Slam Smile, kind of projected to be closer to second with Crazy Hat. They were both pretty flashy in the races that we've seen from them so far. And then from there, I do think it's a little bit muddy, but we see the late pace projector here with that little LP flag for the number 4, Stay Quiet, who's been kind of closing from off the pace. Even last time out in a race that wasn't necessarily as quick as the others, was making a little bit of a late move to win.
The number 1, Fly a Fantasy, a daughter of Smiling Tiger, was bet down to odds on for her career debut, and she looked good for trainer Jeff Bondi. It was a nice professional performance. She didn't make the lead. A lot of these short distance sprints for 2-year-olds are one up front. Fly a Fantasy showed a willingness to pass horses, and that could help her here. Mike Smith retains the mount.
I think that's huge, being able to pass, right? We do know there's a fair bit of speed in here, but I'm more impressed with horses in debut, especially in these shorter races, say 4.5 coming from off of it.
Grand Slam Smile is the number 2, a debut winner against the boys at Golden Gate on Tapeta. She showed a lot of grit and determination on dirt in her second lifetime start. And here's the number 2, Grand Slam Smile. Let's take a look at her second lifetime start. Her debut is a good effort against the boys on the Tapeta at Golden Gate. This is a short field in the Fasig-Tipton debutante going 5/8 of a mile, but she has a lot of work to do. She's in between horses, and she's able to re-rally to get it done.
She's a little bit of a wiggler in the stretch, right? When she gets encouragement from a rider, she's not sure really what to do, but gained to the wire. Nice to see her able to transfer her form from Golden Gate, different surface, to the dirt. And I liked the trip that she got. I thought it was a really good performance.
All eyes on Pushiness, and all eyes were on her in her debut. She went off at 3-10, and she made it look like a bargain. Let's watch. Pushiness going out for trainer Michael McCarthy. She was lengths in front, about 100 yards out of the gate, and she just kept on extending. This looks like a morning breeze.
Looks like a walk in the park. And, she was heavily favored in here. And that's just based on her workouts, too, and her pedigree a bit, right? She did have a bullet drill back on May 25th, and then had another really strong work after that at the 5 furlong distance, which set her up really nicely for her debut. Looking at the runners on debut that were winners or even that weren't, or Buyer stands out in this field, not to just kind of cling to the Buyer, but she was extremely swift out of the gate. And you wonder in here, she gets lonely, she's able to do it at 5.5, shouldn't be really far out of her reach.
Like many 2-year-olds, the number 4, Stay Quiet, benefited from her debut experience. She broke slowly in her debut. She ran on a little bit at the end to pass tired horses. Second time out, much better. Again, the speed wasn't there, although she was closer to the pace. But I like the way she latches on outside the leaders and grinds them down. That's It's All Good down onto her inside, and she'll face that one again.
And It's All Good doesn't really want to toss in the towel yet, as well as really grinding. But, looking at this filly, she looks like she's a little bit on the bigger side. She carries a lot of weight compared to her rivals. You can just see that in the video. And in the end, she gets up. And it seemed like to me in those last couple jumps to the wire, Joe Bravo really wasn't asking her.
It's All Good is up next, and after the race we just saw, she came back and won and did it in this fashion against a pretty weak field. Now, the problem with It's All Good thus far is her gait antics. She doesn't break very well, and in a race like this against a horse like Pushiness, I'm not sure she can afford to break slowly.
I don't think she can. Hopefully, with a couple of races under her belt, she will be better. And she's taken this show on the road. Now it's going to be her third venue that she's been at. And that's also a little bit of a concern, but you wonder just now that she's got more experience, will she be better? She did, try a little bit harder in her second career start. Her number didn't really increase drastically, but you can't falter. I will say, too, I like that she's a little bit further off of it second time out than she was on debut. But as you said, does that work against you or does that help you? You have to hope then, I guess, that Pushiness might miss the break.
The 6 is Putt for Doe, and she got a very fast pace set up in her career debut, and she took advantage. Let's watch that effort at Del Mar. It was only 15 days ago, and she's going to be extremely wide into the stretch, but these horses in front of her are getting tired. It was a nice stretch run. It was something she can build off of, and maybe the pace will be hot again.
Yeah, I really liked this performance watching the replays. She was wide throughout, and to me, at parts on kind of early on in the race, it didn't look like she was going to really be a factor in the end. But I like that she drew away and was able to continue her momentum in the stretch. I wonder if longer term, can she go further? A lot of these will stretch out because they started at 4.5 or 5, but I think she's a horse that can maybe even go around 2 turns. But if the pace is hot, I think she's a big player, and that is a short turnaround. I think that's a positive sign.
Crazy hot one by the length of the stretch in her career debut, going 4.5 furlongs. Then she was heavily favored second time out over Grand Slam Smile. We saw that race. She got a little bit tired at the end. I kind of like this outside post position for Crazy Hot. It gives the jockey plenty of options to take a look inside, see how fast Pushiness is going, and kind of find a nice tracking position while clear of traffic.
I agree. I think drawing more towards the outside does help her. I think she's quicker than the horse to her outside as well, so she doesn't really have to worry about the 8 in here. But I'm not sure what to take away out of her last effort. It's so hard to judge when we know that Grand Slam Smile looked so good winning, but also it was such a compact field, and she was kind of chasing and kind of had to put that pressure on. Where I thought on debut, her getting to the front, she made it really look simple, and it's just a different strategy. And I don't think that it really was the distance. I just think it was kind of the tactics that she had to use.
Still, the spotlight completes the field. A debut winner at Santa Anita went to Prairie Meadows for her second start. That program's underrated with their 2-year-olds. The runner-up from that last race came back, placed in a stake at Monmouth on the turf with a 58 Beyer speed figure. I can see her improving a bit at a big price with blinkers on.
She can improve, I think. I don't think she's going to be forwardly placed, though, just looking at that race at Santa Anita. The Beyer is low, but she also just didn't go as fast as others in here. So she has the outside draw. She's going to have to hope that horses towards her inside are going to go and she can get position. I know the blinkers go on her, but I'm still not convinced she's as quick as the others.
Top pick time for the CTBA. It's race number 9 at Del Mar on Sunday. You're going with Pushiness, and why not? She was super impressive in her debut. I'm curious to see what we get from Grand Slam Smile. She lacks that sizzle. I think she might have a little bit of stake, though. I like the way she gutted it out last time out in between. But boy, Pushiness is going to be tough to run down.
Yeah, I think we have the 2 here. I think you can flip-flop between them and make a case for either. Pushiness, I think it's just what we saw on debut. You wonder what else is there. But when I want to play devil's advocate on my own horse, Grand Slam Smile, I really thought she looked very good trying the dirt for the first time. I thought she looked even though she didn't win by the same margin, the tactics that were used, just sitting just off of it, very impressive as well. So I think Pushiness will be favored, but I think these 2 are going to be short prices, unfortunately. But we'll see. We'll see who's the better of the 2, likely.
We'll see if Pushiness can be caught. She's likely to make the lead in the CTBA, and she's shown a lot of talent. Best of luck.